Hey, what's going on, folks? We have a very special broadcast for you tonight. I'm here with two UFC Hall of Famers, the legendary Tito Ortiz and the extraordinary BJ Penn, to talk about America, the future of our country, freedom, truth, reality, and Hawaii, where BJ Penn is running for governor. These guys are some of the best mixed martial artists of all time, and they're just as great at standing up for our freedom in America. Great Americans, great patriots. I'm excited to have them both. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's An0maly. Thank you so much, Tito and BJ, for joining me today. Yeah, so
No,
we'll
thank
start.
you, brother. I
boss.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, brother. I
no,
appreciate it.
no problem. So we'll start with BJ. I know you're running for governor. I love Hawaii, and what really inspired you to want to run and change the direction of Hawaii?
You know what? I never thought I would run for governor. I never thought I would ever run for office. I'm not a career politician. The pandemic came. I mean, Hawaii has always had a lot of problems. The economy. They're very socialist over here. It's a very very strong Democrat establishment. But I saw they closed down the businesses. They closed down the schools. They kept them down. You couldn't see your parents in the hospitals, and I knew all this was going on, but they tried to make a vaccine passport to leave your island, so everybody would have got stuck on their island, and we all have cousins, whatever, on other islands, and so I called the guy who was supporting that bill, the congressman, and I told him, I said, why are you doing this? This is gonna tear the families apart. And me and this guy, we've grown up together. And anything I've ever asked him when he was a state senator, he did. But right when he went up to the federal senator, things changed, and that's when he really started pushing all these things. And I told him, I said, what's gonna happen if this passes? First he goes, oh, it's not gonna pass till next year if it does. I go, well, that's only 3 months away. And then I go, what's going to happen if it passes? And he said, you're just going to have to listen. And that's it. That's the whole thing. He's our representative. He's not our leader. And that people got to wake up. And when I do go and talk and there's other politicians there, that's all I can think. When they're all there, I want to walk up there and I want to say, anybody here who's running for office in Hawaii and is here to screw over the people, just leave now. Just walk away. We're tired of it. We've had enough. And this pandemic and all that stuff, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And here we are. We're looking at everything and everything's unfolding and we're watching. I'm looking at what's going on with Hawaii. I'm talking to different people and I see the housing problem, the economy, the cost of living. All of our children move away to look for jobs in other lands, and Hawaii's run like just a welfare state. It just gets up and goes and gets money from the federal government, and that's their whole thing. That's their whole thing. It's another bankrupt Democrat establishment.
When it comes to the lockdown restrictions and the COVID restrictions, I know Democrats are clearly pushing it harder than Republicans. And you go to places like Canada, they go hard. Australia. Hawaii, it seems like it has this culture, two things going against it, or three things. Well, it's a Democrat area and they run it. Also, when you fly to Hawaii, they often make you sign stuff that says, are you bringing any plants or anything? So it's kind of baked in people's heads, like it's normal to think stuff like that. And then it's on an island. Like if you're a cruise boat island, they seem to want to quarantine more. So that's three things going against it. And that made it one of the worst places when it came to COVID restrictions. I love Hawaii. I want to come there, spend my money with the locals, go to Uncle Robert's, if you know, on Big Island, really,
Yeah.
just have a great time. And I couldn't do that because either I had to take a test, which I didn't want to do, get a vaccine, which I don't have, or I would have to quarantine for 14 days and basically be on house arrest. And that has stopped me from going to Hawaii for 2 years. So, do you think a lot of people there are tired of it? Are they buying into it?
COVID didn't shut down all of our businesses. COVID didn't destroy our economy. Bad leadership did. They know what's going on. If it come, you can ask them. We walked up and asked Kai Kahele the other day. Some people walked up and asked him and said, "Do you still believe in your 10-point plan where you want to quarantine everybody. It's like an Australia type thing. And he says, no, not right now, but if the numbers pick up, we might have to look back into it. Your freedoms are always in jeopardy under these people, all the time, any chance they get. But what blows me away is these guys who step in and become political entrepreneurs, and they want to sit there and hold that power. I want to come in. Uh, I'm deciding to volunteer to do this. I was so gung ho about it, and I want to come in. I'm not here for the office. I'm here for the people, and I'm here for their freedoms. And another thing I think about is, I want to work every day when I get in there. If I can finish the job in 4 years, I step out and go back to raising my kids and all that. Everything I want to do in life. I was with Tito side by side for 20 years, a professional fighter, and we've got a lot of stories to talk about from all of those years. But I want to go in and do something for everybody, and that I know that they're going to come after me. I know they're going to try to destroy my businesses. They're going to try to destroy my gyms, destroy my name, destroy my family, my legacy, anything. But no matter what they do, it's not going to make me stop what's happening.
Appreciate you. I could tell when you talk, you're passionate, you're raw. You know what I'm saying? It's not scripted. I hope the people who I see that, because, I forget Ige or whatever his name is. He's a politician. He just acts like a robot and says like generic things. So I clearly see you're authentic. I want to get Tito's take of what it was like running out in Huntington and some of the stuff that you went through. But BJ, real quick, I'm sure you've had people hate on you during your MMA career a little bit, but have you faced any like media scrutiny? Has it like gotten crazier now that you're running for office, especially as like not a Democrat?
Oh yeah, they came after me right away. The establishment came after me right away, doing different things. I don't really want to talk about them on here, but
yeah, no
they
worries.
came after me. Yeah, I don't want to talk about specific things, but they came at me right away. They weren't playing games. They want to let you know. They want you to pull out as soon as possible. But like Jason Perillo always tells me and Tito, we ain't going anywhere. We ain't going to. They thought I walk away at this point, but we ain't going anywhere.
Right. Tito, yeah, anything you want to add on that? What if you want to share some stuff, what it was like running for you?
Well, I think I made a huge mistake, and I should have did what BJ did. What I did was I ran for city council because I wanted to help Huntington. Just the demographic here in Huntington of being the fourth conservative city in the United States. We're the Florida of California. I thought small because I thought small is just my community here. But being in Hawaii and BJ and it's a small island. Everybody knows everybody. My mom was born and raised there, so when BJ asked me to come along to try and help him out, I really don't think he needs my help because I think the people believe where his heart's at and how important his kids are to him, and to everybody else's children are to all of us. That's one of the reasons why I got into city council. But when I was there, it was from day one they attacked me. It was nonstop. But once again, I should have went for governor. But I got a taste of what politics were like. They attacked me. They lied about me. And as I told BJ, they're going to do everything they possibly can to lies and say so much different things that you didn't do. And they're going to try to make just complete fabrications and, propaganda that is not true. And they're going to try to, hurt your name and just ruin you and just make you not what you are. I mean, you see what they did to Donald Trump, and he's none of those things that they try to say that he is. He's not racist or anything like that. I've known the guy. I worked for the guy, being Mexican-American. Now I'm the white supremacist. And when I was on city council, they called me a white supremacist. And Tito Ortiz, I'm like, you guys don't understand the name. You guys understand my history of what I've done over the last, 25 years. But like I said, when BJ said that he's running for governor, Hawaii needs to be great again, So I think this is something that is really important for the future of Hawaii, the future of the Republican Party, of what BJ is really fighting for. And it's our children. It's the future of our businesses. It's our economy. I mean, look how hard and how gnarly we're taking a hit of our inflation due to Biden. And like I say, I don't want to wish bad on the guy, but I wish something would turn out well from this. And it just seems like across the whole United States, this big red wave is coming. And this big wave is going to take over in Hawaii. And BJ is going to be the first person to do it.
Amen. Well, I know in a Texas district is heavily Hispanic and also very Democrat. You had Maya Flores when recently it was like the first time in a couple decades. Some people said 100 years, and it was
Yes,
a
100 years.
massive shift, and it was like a huge win. It wasn't even really close. So, BJ, do you see that happening there? Because I know COVID restrictions were crazy. Biden is very, very unpopular, and it's not good to have a party. If you're the Democrats, like that's who you are. Like it's not the party of Obama anymore. It's the party of bike falling Biden. So do you see that going in your favor? And is it so strong in Honolulu? Like there's just so many Democrats, like LA, where I'm always like, aren't they going to vote for someone else? And then it just keeps going Democrat. You think Hawaii could flip? Because it's been a long time from what I've heard.
You know, there's reports that they're having record numbers of voters registering right now. Every day, 5 to 10 people come up to me and say, "BJ, I never voted in my young and old now. BJ, I've never voted in my life. I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna vote this time. Let's go. But I got a reason to vote." So I'm just not gonna stop. I'm just gonna stay out there, and this is the kind of stuff, honestly, I've learned from Tito. I've and even like he said about dreaming big, and going big. I've learned. He's told me these things from when I started fighting. BJ, let's go right for the title. Everybody deserves the title shot. Let's go. Let's get out there and get it. And a lot of these things, and this is it. I got 8 weeks out. This is where Tito would look at me and say, 8 weeks, you don't stop until the fight. You don't
Right.
stop until it's, game time. And it is, I believe it is like a fight in Las Vegas. You got to win that night. You can't come later and say, hey, let's go check out what's going on. So we're going to go out. We're going to win by a landslide.
Right.
There's no going to the athletic commission after. There's no going to any commission because that's not going to change anything. We're going to win that night, and we're going to win by a landslide. I tell the people all the time, you're gonna to bully the system, to flip the system. You're gonna have to put some effort too. You're gonna have to get out there. You show up for me, and I'm gonna show up for you. Let's get out there and flip this thing. It's time. 47 out of 51. The legislature is 47 Democrats out of 51. And that's the House, and then the Senate is 24 out of 25. So there's only 5 Republicans in the whole thing.
Right.
And when I say vote Republican in the primary, people come out, and they're right to say, no, just vote for who's best. Yes, I get what you're saying, but now is not the time. It's disinformation at this point because we wanted two parties right now at least, and then we can start going 3, 4, 10, 20 parties, as much as we can fit in there. But we got how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And and we just keep chipping away at these guys. But
Right.
But like Tito said, he said, BJ, was happy to see you out there talking to that crowd. I believe that the establishment sees that. They know that they don't have a campaign like that. They know they've never went up against a campaign like that.
Right.
Somebody coming out telling the truth, and just I'm not here for the power. I'm not here to say I want to be the governor for 2 terms, and then I want to go further. I just want to do this, and go back to kicking butt and watching my kids.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a lot of love both of you guys are getting a lot of love in the comments. I don't know if you could see them popping up on the screen, but I'm going to read this comment real quick. It says, I grew up in Big Island. I would say a lot of people hold conservative values, whether they realize it or not. We are sovereign people. Hawaiians understand this. And I wanted to ask you, BJ, because I know on Big Island, it's like all about Pele, the environment, the ocean. People love environmentalism. And it seems like Democrats have tricked people into thinking they're the only ones who care and they're not corrupt and they're going to really protect it. So I think that's going to be a big issue on Big Island. Like, what's your stance on that? And how can you get people to realize that you will protect the island and, the Democrats are not really about that life?
The Democrats have been selling pipe dreams to the Native Hawaiians for the last 60 years, saying this, saying that. Never tried to do anything for Hawaiian homes. Never. It's just the whole time, and this is where the Native Hawaiians, they are the swing vote. Wherever they want to go, they want to support the Republicans, they want to support the Democrats. the native Hawaiians gotta come out and vote. This is their Hawaii. Just come out and show up. But they all know it this time. Where are Hawaii? The Democrats have said all of these things for the last 60 years to the Hawaiians. And where are the Hawaiians right now? Dead last. Why? Look at the leadership. This is what's going on. They know it. We're just told that we're Democrats. And this is nothing against the Democrat voters. Just has to do with the political leaders. The Democrats are sick. I'll tell you the story. I'll tell you about the Democrats of Hawaii. The Japanese got put during World War II, and they bombed Pearl Harbor. They put them in these internment camps, these concentration camps, and they came out, and they were discriminated against. They were separated from everybody, and they ended up fighting in World War II, and they got more medals than everyone. And they went on the kind of missions that they never thought that they would get to the end. And they get to the end, and they call them and say to come pick us up, because these guys were descendants of samurai, and these guys went in. They were the most unbelievable infantry. In their motto was "Go for broke," and these guys were the inspiration for the Democrat Party. It was all about fighting discrimination, but
Right.
that party is now gone. That party is gone. It's done. It doesn't exist anymore. Now it's time to move forward on who's fighting discrimination. And that's what I tell them all the time. I'll sit here and I'll fight with you guys. Everybody's got a seat at my table. The Republicans, the Democrats, Aloha Aina, anybody. And for sure, no matter what, we're always going to malama the Aina. We're always going to take care of the Aina and aloha the Aina. But we're not going to ever be involved with these green deals or these different things, or trying to steal our farmland and grow 100 million trees to take care of the climate or carbon footprint. The Hawaiians know how to take care of Hawaii. We know how. We know how to aloha the Aina. We know how to malama the Aina. As a proud native Hawaiian, that's all we do.
Man.
But
Amen.
we're nothing to do with any of that other stuff.
Amen. Man, you could just feel it when you talk. His passion is real, and I know that really hits you just talking about how the Democrats have sold pipe dreams to the Hawaiians.
A lot of it, I think, this is really not about Democrat or Republican anymore. This is about Americans. No. This is about patriots. Yes. This is about people who care about their families and their future of how we're going to raise our children the right way in a right environment where they're going to be successful and they're going to make great things of their life. And I think that's the hiccup right there, where people think of Democrat or Republican. If you're not either one, you're not right. No,
right.
People. At the end of the day, we got to love each other. We got to treat each other with respect. You treat others how you want to be treated, And if you are a Democrat, which my mom's a Democrat, she's from Hawaii, and she has the same mentality, and I can't change her mind or anything about it. But then I show her what's happening now, and she's like, "Oh my gosh!" I mean, like right now here in Huntington Beach, I have already 15 houses robbed in my neighborhood, and we've never had houses robbed because the borders are open. And this is just stuff that we're dealing with here on mainland. What BJ's dealing with in Hawaii is within their own people. And their own people need to stand up and get out and vote for the right thing. And not the fact of voting just for Democrat or Republican, but vote for the future of your country, or of your state, of your children's future. And BJ's the man to do it, because he's not a politician. He's not a career politician. He's not getting under the table things, because when I was in city council, there was little deals that were going here and there, and I could have been a part of that. But you know what? At the end of the night, I had to look in the mirror and I had to be responsible for my actions, and I could do exactly the same thing I tell my children: is have faith in God, freedom, and family. I mean, it's important to us, and the same thing in Hawaii. I mean, we all treat each other with respect and values. That it's important for the family correlation, or the family connection, to keep it tight and solid.
Right. A lot of times with the Republicans, like we've been seeing here, it's like, there's a lot of just like controlled opposition situations where it's handshakes, thumbs up, and then they never really seem to go the distance. BJ, my question is, I think you're real. I have some friends in the chat right now that I was telling you, I see them in the chat. They're more like progressive left wing, and they said they're both going to vote for you. They live in Hawaii. I think if your message gets there, like you were on stage, you have name recognition. People know you because you've lived there your whole life. But the establishment, how they usually win is they have so much money, right? Super PAC money. They just spend, spend, spend and get their message out there. So besides name recognition, stage, I know you're on Rogan's podcast, my podcast, stuff like that. What's your strategy to out message them and get this message to Hawaii? Because I know if everybody heard it in Hawaii, you would win. But they have their sneaky tricks to just spend, spend, spend.
Right. Man, we're just battling them, and we're just running a straightforward campaign, and we're just trying to get as much donations as we can, and we're gonna mail out the flyers. We're gonna mail out the flyers. We're gonna get the commercials, and we're just gonna battle these guys, and we're just like Tito said, we're all in the center. All we want is good jobs and our kids to be taken care of. That's all of us, everybody. There is no extreme people. All we want is a great job, and our kids are good. That's all we care about. So I just want to keep pushing that word. I just want to keep pushing that out there, and there's a lot of stuff out there that's divisive. There's a lot of stuff you can come up and say, "Hey, BJ, what do you think about this and that?" And I'll look you straight at them. I go, "I don't think about that because I focus on Hawaii," and I think that's just very divisive. It's not going to be a political statement that's going to unify it. That's going to unify everybody. It's going to be sincerity. It's going to be aloha. It's going to be talking to them face to face. I'm not going to say something political and somebody goes, "You know what?" They're all going to go, "You know what? BJ's right. BJ's right. Hey, man, why did we just listen to this guy?" It's just going to be me coming out, talking to everybody, understanding where they come from, and everybody, just doing our best. But I will defend the Bill of Rights. I will defend these things. It's easy to fight for individual rights when it's popular, but I want to teach the kids how to fight for them when it's not popular. But it's still, you got to fight for it because you're going to lose it.
Right. BJ, I know you were born and raised, I believe, right, in Hawaii. It's got such an epic culture, words like aloha, mahalo, stuff like that just has deep meaning. For people that have never been there and maybe don't know that much about Hawaiian culture, what's it like out there? Because I feel like it's got this special, unique culture that a lot of people, unless you visited and spoke to people, you don't really know about.
Yep. It's a pretty laid back place. We try to keep up with the world going on around us, but sometimes we end up looking like a different culture for sure. But no, we just have fun. Tito knows exactly what it's like too. He's from Hawaii, so it's just a cool place. Puna, now that's a place. You got to tell us about Puna, about what goes on over there, because that place is fun.
Puna, yeah, man. I actually, my buddy, he's in the chat. I see him now, but I just was at his house, and then I left, and the week I left is when the volcano hit, and his entire neighborhood he got volcanoed, and I was just in the warm pond and some of the reefs and stuff. And I talked to him a couple months later. He's like, "All of that's gone, dude. It's under." And that's why people respect the volcano, especially on Big Island, because it's like, you don't decide, Pele decides. Like, your whole neighborhood gone under 100 feet of just molten rock. It's just nuts.
True, that's true. That happens.
It is laid back though. No, I think that when you said that, like, I asked all this, and you're like, it's late. That's how I feel out there. People are a lot chiller and laid back, and you could definitely, especially with the time difference, like it's light where you are. I do videos, so it was always like, man, I gotta put out my video at like 12 a.m. to get like Eastern time. It was throwing me off because it's almost just like it separates you for the better, but it's like also I was like, man, I gotta totally switch my schedule.
Yeah, but my buddies say it's like they're in a different world when they come over to the Big Island, or a different country at least. So they tell me that all the time.
Tito, how long have you guys known each other? Because he's been bringing up you guys on the come up. I know you guys came up in the same era, but yeah, how long have you known each other? Have you guys always been tired?
Since 1999. We know each other for a long time. So I wanted to go train with Frank Shamrock after I lost to him, and I went up to Sacramento, where he has his gym at, and I was training with him. And he's like, "Hey, check out this kid right here. His name's BJ Penn. He's from Hawaii. He's a little scrapper, man. And I was watching him, and he's like wrestling with Stanford wrestlers who are D1 wrestlers, and they couldn't take him down. I was like, who is this kid? And I kept watching, and then, I pulled him aside, and I was like, yeah, man, keep that wrestling up. I go, start getting hands too. Like, that's super, super important. And then he had a couple fights. I think he fought Caro Uno, ended up knocking him out unconscious. And I was like, wow, BJ's for real. And he just did some really just epic things during his fights. And, being a world champion, I think you're two weight class world champ there, BJ, I believe.
Yeah.
You were one of the first. So Conor McGregor was the first. BJ Penn was. BJ's just done so many great things in mixed martial arts. He's just shown how a natural kid from the island could come up and just be a superstar, and I think that's what he has going for him in this election, that he has the fan friendliness of everybody knows who BJ is, and right. Of course we all make mistakes. I made mistakes as a young kid. He's made mistakes as a young kid, but we learn from those mistakes. And this is something that, the left is going to try to push, saying, oh, BJ, he fights on the street, he does this, he does that. But you understand, this man has learned from this thing. We got to grow up. We got to be, he's a father now, an amazing father. Happy Father's Day to you, BJ, by the way.
Thank you. You too, sir.
Yes,
all you guys.
Yes, sir. But, at the end of the day, we all make mistakes. But when you feel out you've made the mistakes and you want to capitalize by correcting them and helping your brothers around you, your family around you, other families, their kids, and that's what BJ's doing. And it's brave of him to do that because, like I said, when I tasted, city council and getting attacked as much as I did, CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, I mean, they were attacking me every single week, lies after lies, saying I'm poisoning the people by giving free food for Christmas and stuff. I was just like, mind-blowing,
Hey folks, if you like that chat, share this video or subscribe to my channel if you'd like. If you want to hear the full podcast, listen to the audio on Dream Rare Podcast. Just search Dream Rare Podcast anywhere podcasts are found, or watch the extended version of that video on rumble.com/dreamrare, bitshoot.com/dreamrare, or gab.com/dreamrare. 3 websites that censor way less than Facebook and YouTube. God bless you guys and have a beautiful week.